Hi there, I'm Joy, and today I'd like to talk to you about Life Path 11s and alcohol. So, one of the most notable things about 11s is that we're really sensitive. We're sensitive to our environments and to the energy in them. We, for this reason, find that being in some environments, I might even say most environments, can be pretty painful for us. And this is especially true if we're living our lives in a way that doesn't feel right to us. If we're doing that, then life can be excruciatingly painful, in fact. And for this reason, I think that alcohol has a draw for 11s because it can numb our sensitivities. And alcohol is an anesthetic, it relieves pain, physical pain, emotional pain. Of course, that's only in the moment, but what ends up happening is that the senses get dulled and the energy sensitivity gets dulled. And that sensitivity, even though it can be a difficult thing, is pretty much our greatest gift, really. And it's our compass. It's how we know what's right for us and what's not right for us. It's how we know when to say something and when not to say something. It's how we can make decisions. Does it feel right? Does it feel like the flow of life, that the flow of energy around us is supporting this decision, this movement? And we can get a sense of people with this energy sensitivity, and it gives us a lot of really important information that we need. So if we're dulling our sensitivities, we don't have access that's quite as strong to to this superpower that we have, right? So, am I saying that you shouldn't drink at all? I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't do anything. Do whatever feels right to you. As for me, I don't drink at all. I'm actually a recovering alcoholic and just totally abstain from alcohol. I don't drink at all. However, I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Like I said, do whatever feels right to you. And if you don't have any issues with, um, having alcohol once in a while, if you're not an alcoholic, then, it's a different kind of thing than for somebody who has a tendency to, on a bad day, once you start, it can get can get pretty unpleasant, and harmful. So, what I have learned though is that even when I went through periods of time when I didn't drink that much, because like I could manage it pretty well some of the time. So, even while I was doing that, I still found that pretty much any amount of alcohol would make me feel a little bit dull and a little bit down for maybe a couple days afterwards. And I just feel a lot better overall if I don't drink at all. So, once again, I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. Do whatever feels right to you. And I guess the main point that I'm trying to bring up is that if you do find that you're drawn to using alcohol to numb the pain of just existing in a way that's not right for you, it's a lot more powerful, even though it's difficult, to stop doing that and to deal with whatever's coming up inside you, which it's pretty helpful to have some good tools for doing that. And social support can be really helpful in that way too. I don't go to 12-step meetings anymore, like AA. I don't do that anymore, but I did for a while. And I found that um, each group that I went to kind of had its own like vibe, its own energy. And finding one that was good for me was a really important part of recovery in the very beginning for me. So being involved in some kind of group energy, it doesn't even need to be AA, but some kind of group energy that is supportive and feels good to you can be a pretty helpful thing in, well, kind of just a really helpful thing in general, I would say. But if you're trying to make a change in your life, give up alcohol, or, I would say that this doesn't just apply to alcohol. This also applies to, any other substance that people use to numb the pain, essentially. Some people use like psychedelics to, explore themselves and have spiritual experiences. And that's a different subject. And I would have to, I would have to do a video just on that. So I'm not talking about that right now, unless you're doing it. Nope. Nope. I'm not talking about that right now at all. I'm talking about things like marijuana, or like kratom, or alcohol. It's the title of the video. Anything that you might use to specifically numb your sensitivity to what doesn't feel right, essentially. I feel like the pause that I just took is so long that maybe I should just re-record this video, because I know I'm not going to edit it. That's like not a thing that's going to happen. Nah, I'm just going to keep rolling with it. All right. So if you do need any help to not drink, then, I think AA is one way that you could do that. I also like IFS for dealing with addictions. And well, I love IFS just in general. And in fact, I'm going to put a link to my IFS video in the description for this one. But anyways, I guess there's a couple more things that I want to say about alcohol. My own experience was that I decided to stop drinking for just like 6 months, because I knew that I should probably stop if I wanted to do my inner healing work, because I had this little notion that it might be numbing my emotional awareness. And I knew that if I was going to be doing some kind of inner healing work, I needed to have access to my feelings, like proper access to them. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just not drink for like 6 months. That shouldn't be a problem, right? And I was reading this book that, well, Women Who Love Too Much was the name of the book. And it actually said in that book, if you are a problem drinker, even sometimes, and you're going to be doing this kind of work, it's really important for you to go to AA so that you can do it without that becoming like the weak link in the chain, and like flaring up as an issue, because that, there's a tendency for that to happen if you're going to be doing this kind of like deep inner healing work. So when I read that, I'm like, well, I most certainly do not want to go to AA. I'm not interested in that. However, I think that I'm going to just stop drinking. I can do that, right? So I made this little deal with myself. All right, Joy, you don't have to go to AA as long as you don't drink for, about 6 months. And if you can do that, then clearly you don't need to go to AA. But if you can't do that, then you do need to go to AA. And I said, well, that's easy. Fair enough. All right, Joy, you have a deal. So then I said to myself, all right, awesome. Well, let's get started tomorrow. And then I went to the liquor store and bought some alcohol. And then the next day came and it was like mid-afternoon. And I was thinking, man, I really shouldn't have picked today to stop, you know, because it's a Thursday and Thursdays are like the day when I want to drink more than any other day because I have an early breakfast meeting and it just like messes up my whole like diet for the day. And then I end up like craving alcohol like around dinner time. And I just should not have picked today. What about tomorrow? I should do it tomorrow instead. And I just about had myself talked into waiting until the next day to stop drinking for 6 months when I realized what I was doing and I kept my word to myself and went to a meeting that night. And it just so happens I found a really great one right off the bat. I think if I had gone into one and not liked the environment, the vibe in the room, it would have turned out differently. But I found a good one right off the bat, and then I stopped drinking. And it probably took another, I don't know, month or two for me to like actually admit that I'm an alcoholic. Cause like I never got in any trouble or anything. Like it never like I never messed up at work because of it. And I never like had any like drunk driving tickets or like accidents. Well, I mean, I did hurt myself a few times, but like not too bad. Like what's a sprained ankle? Anyways, so so you know, I was very much just like nah, like I'm not really an alcoholic. And then I, after listening to people's accounts at the meetings for a little bit, I realized that I am. And one of the interesting things about alcoholism that I learned is that it's a progressive disease. So it gets worse as you get older. And even if you don't drink like at all ever, and you start drinking when you're like, I don't know, 60 or, you know, whatever, it can be as bad as if you had been drinking that whole time. And if you don't drink for a little while and then start drinking again, it's as bad as if you had been drinking the whole time. So like it's not drinking that makes it worse. It's just time. That's what they said. And I found that pretty interesting. I also learned that if you like have ever like drank alcohol to the point of blacking out, you're probably an alcoholic because social drinkers don't do that because it feels bad before it gets to that point. Um, like a social drinker will be like, okay, that's enough for me at a certain point, and an alcoholic will keep drinking at that point and then keep drinking even more and then black out. So I mean, I guess the idea is that you know, if you drink until you black out or have done it a number of times, or well, the person that told me said like if you've ever done that, but yeah, I don't know. We all turned 21 once, right? Um, so, okay. What I'm getting at here is that that is one of the things that I found as an indication like, yeah, I am probably an alcoholic. Like, I have definitely experienced those times when I like wake up hungover and like check my text messages and my like phone call log and like, you know, social media, and just like make sure that I don't need to apologize to anyone about anything because I don't remember what I said or did. That's happened more than a few times. So anyways, I'm very happy that I don't drink anymore. And yeah, that's about it. Learning how to live with the level of sensitivity of an 11 without doing anything to numb it out is a pretty intense thing. And 11s have it kind of rough in this regard. However, there, like I said, there's a lot of value to it. It's a superpower. And once you can really tap into it and utilize it, it just changes everything. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks you should do. You do what feels right to you because you have to, because it feels really bad if you don't. And You know, that's kind of the bottom line. You know, it's all about following your inner compass and authenticity and trusting yourself, you know, not medicating yourself into being able to live the way other people believe you should live. That's not for us. Well, I mean, like I said, you should do whatever feels right to you, but I'm going to wrap up this video now. Thank you for watching, and I would love to hear your comments about it. Thank you.